So, Tiny, you know what's been going on in our city.
Absolutely.
And what's been going on in our country. Now, it continues to happen. And I think that we have an obligation as union leaders to do something about it. Now, when you saw that video, I mean, what was your first reaction to it?
It upset me that any man lost his life. It's a very upsetting thing, especially when I don't think a man had to lose his life.
Right.
That's the part that bothered me the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to see anybody, you know, lose their life, especially when there's all this going on with this pandemic and everything else in the world. You know, to me, that was senseless, a man losing his life.
Yeah. Yeah. And all too familiar on my side. I mean, we see it all the time. Just a couple of months before, we had the guy in Georgia, Aubrey. You know, he gets gunned down in broad daylight. And, you know, it keeps happening, it keeps happening, it keeps happening. And at a certain point, you know, we need to have these conversations. Doesn't matter white, black, you know, loss of life is loss of life.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be where you are because I can't comment on it.
Right.
But, you know, I can comment on the fact that you have to listen to each other.
Yeah.
Just because I don't see a problem doesn't mean there's not a problem. If you see the problem, then it's a problem we all have to deal with.
Right.
You know, everybody's got to open their ears a little more, hear each other out, whether it be at the workplace, whether it be in the world.
Right.
You know, and if everybody does this much, there's a lot of people. If everybody does this much, then a lot of much gets done, and that's important.
Right, I agree. And, you know, like you said, I lived through it. I grew up in the South, and, you know, one of my stories that I told Kamak was we went to a church in South Carolina one time, and when we came out of the church, they had the KKK out in the field where the church was at. And I was about 13 or 14 years old, and that was, you're talking about fear. I mean, I was scared. And watching what happened to George Floyd, it brought back all those feelings of fear and pain. Like, this is 2020.
Right.
And with all the advancement in technology and this and that, and people making all this money, you would think that would stop.
That's a war that was fought in the 1800s.
Yeah.
I mean, that war should be over a long time ago.
Right. But why do you think, why do you think this continues to happen?
I couldn't tell you because I wasn't raised that way.
Right.
You know, I grew up in a town that was mixed races, Asian, African American, Spanish, you know, Puerto Rican, everybody, we all grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
We all played sports together. We all went to school together. I work at UPS. We all do the same things together.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't comment on, that mentality wasn't allowed in my home.
Gotcha.
Wasn't allowed when I grew up.
Right.
You know, so it bothers me that it's out there in the world because it wasn't where I came from.
Right.
That wasn't allowed. My father wouldn't tolerate that. You treat a man the way he treats you. Doesn't matter what he does or where he's from, the color of his skin. You
Exactly.
take a man, you know, a man helps you up, you take his hand. You
Right.
know, that's the way it is.
Right.
Not, you know, I should put you down because you're different than me. I wasn't brought up that way.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's what we need to talk about with the larger community. Listen, we all fighting the same battle. You know, I need your help. You need my help. In order to get what we're trying to get to, we're going to have to work together. Just as a bottom line.
But that's the way it should be.
Right.
I mean, there are bigger problems, like number one, this pandemic.
Yes.
We should all be working together, trying to worry about that instead of having incidences like that happened to Mr. Floyd.
Right, I agree. And for the last 3 months, you know, everybody's been sitting in the house, you know, not working. You know, economics, you know, has always bypassed the black community. Access to health care, that plays a part into it too. And then now all of a sudden this happened, explosion. And I think what we need to do, continue to have conversations like we're having. You know, like you said, you don't know what it's like to go, what I've been through. And that right there is a mouthful. Because a lot of people are not going to say that. They're not going to say that. But until you get down to where a person is, you don't know what they're going through.
Like I said, I wasn't raised in the South.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
you know, raised around here. So
Right.
I don't know the problems that you have. But because I don't know them, doesn't mean that I can't appreciate the
Right.
fact there's a problem.
Right. And then we have to focus on fixing that problem and working it out, talking to each other. Burning and looting and destroying is not the answer.
No, you got to talk, you got to listen, You know, listen, this country was built on protests,
Yeah.
but they were peaceful, law-abiding. You know, you want to block traffic, that kind of protest, not destroying property. Guy works his whole life to put a store up there, and now he's lost it all.
And Tony, I saw this the other day, man, it hurt my heart. It was an older African-American gentleman, had built the store from the ground up, worked his whole life to get it. The same people that ate in that store, took their families to that store, are now burning that store down. And he was visibly devastated. And I ain't gonna lie, I cried. Because you can see the pain. He worked so hard. Number one, he's black. It's hard to have your own anything in this country when you're African American. It is. But he got his store, and they burned it down. He was devastated. And to me, that is not the answer. That is not the answer. You cannot burn down and loot and destroy what you're going to need. What sense does it make to go to CVS, Rite Aid, take the medicine that your grandmother's going to need tomorrow?
I think a lot of people, they think that people are listening to them, but they're not hearing.
Yeah.
You have to do both. You have to listen, you have to hear. You know, when someone tells you there's a problem, just because you don't know there's a problem, accept the fact that there's a problem. Let's see how can we address the problem?
Right.
Like we do at work every day.
Exactly.
We don't know there's a problem until a member tells us there's a problem.
Exactly.
Then we have to address the problem.
Right. And that leads us to the next point. Now, as, like I said, union leaders, especially in a local where you have about 60 to 70% are minority people, I think we do have a responsibility to lead the way, especially in this issue. If you see online and you read it, that, you know, a lot of people make statements. You know, the IBT made one, different locals made one. You know, I think the people that are vying for IBT election next year, they made one. But they're saying the same thing. You know, we protest racism, and what happened to George Floyd is a problem. But it has to be more to that. We just can't talk about it. Now we got to have some action. You know, and I think what we need to do is keep having these conversations, because once you stop, something else happened, then we got to start all over again. And we don't want to start all over again, because then you got all the emotion, all the hate, all the bigotry. You know, we got to continue to attack that daily, you know, especially in a local like this, you know, and this is symbolic in itself. You and I ran against each other, you know, but we have to work together. You provide a service for a particular class that I don't have. I never drove. You did.
Right.
And so, and those are the connections that we have to make in race as well. We have to do that. In order to get beyond where we at, we have to see the differences and work together. Because you may be different, like I said, you drove, I didn't. But what you bring to this team is valuable. I don't know nothing about driving. You do.
I never worked the airport.
Exactly. But we make it work. And guess what? The membership benefits when we work together.
Right, because you work together. You listen, we talk, you listen.
Right.
You talk, we listen, and we work together.
Right. So I think what we need to do as a local is, number one, you know, let the people know that they can always talk to us, whatever issues they have. You know, we give out food on Wednesdays. We have other programs where we help battered women in our local. So we can talk about race and how we can help our members that deal with that. Because when I was in the building at the airport on Monday night, I believe, everybody wanted to talk about what was going on in the city. It wasn't about work. It was about, hey man, are we going to get through this? You know, how you feel about it? And we just talked about it. And it wasn't just black people. It was all races we were talking about. And those are the conversations that I love to have, you know, because, you know, UPS is going to be UPS. But we got to be the union. We got to be the membership. But we got to work together on this.
Right, well, that just shows when people want to talk, everybody wants to talk about
Yes.
it. It's a problem that we all need to address and handle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So what we can do, and we can talk to our members as well, whatever issues you guys are having, you know, come talk to us. We're here. We're approachable. Whatever issues you have at home, issues with race, you know, talk to us. We're here. Whatever we can do to help lead us out of this situation, because we don't want this to happen again.
No, we got to stay together. So
We have to.
Everybody has to stay together on this.
Yeah, we have to. We have to stay together. We have to work together, because it's not, you know, about a black man dying or a white man putting his knee on the brother's neck. It's about the problem that it keeps happening. It keeps happening, but we have to work together so it can stop happening. All right, so just wanted to let you guys know these are the conversations that we're going to continue to have. Members, if you want to talk about it, you can always call us and we can talk about it. You know, we're here to serve the membership as best way possible, and we thank you for this opportunity. And like I said, we just wanted to bring you in on how we feel about it. We both feel the same way about what happened. But now we got to work together so it won't continue to happen. All right, we're going to get out of here. We got a lot of work to do. So stay safe out there. Tell me what you got.
Be careful out there, and our doors are always open.
Yeah.
We're here for the members, so
Yep.
if you need us, let us know. We'll help you out any way we can.
All right.
Be safe, everyone.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right.